Hi there, you're in the lab with your mate JJ. Today is Maxitronix Day. Today we're going to continue working through our Maxitronix Sensor Robot 20, our 20-in-1 project lab. Today we'll be doing project number 14, which is the non-touch switch. So we'll jump over to the computer and have a look at the instructions. Then when we've done that, we'll pop over to the booth and we'll assemble the kit. And then when that's done, we'll bring it over to the bench here and we'll have a look at the kit and the circuit and how it performs. We'll check it out with the thermal cam and the oscilloscope and the multimeter and that sort of thing, just to see how it works. So let's get on with it. Here we are on the computer. So let's just fire up our web browser and make sure that we're up to date. And there it is. This is project number 14. It's the non-touch switch. Let's open this guy up here. Alright. So, non-touch switch. What it does. Bet someone that you can turn on a light without touching the light, a switch, or any part of the circuit between them. Your sensor robot can help you win that bet. The reed switch can sense magnetic fields. Now put that fact to work. Complete the wiring as shown and turn on power. Then bring a bar magnet near the reed switch. As you do, the LEDs light, and you've made them light without touching the circuit. How it works. The reed switch is made of two soft iron, a special type of iron that only temporarily retains magnetism. Two soft iron strips or reeds enclosed in glass. The strips are positioned very close together, but they do not touch. The switch is open. When you bring a magnet near the reeds, they become magnetized temporarily and attract each other. The switch closes. When the switch closes in this circuit, current flows from the battery to the base of Q5 through a 10 kilo ohm resistor. Transistor Q5 turns on and the LEDs light. If you bring the magnet near the switch, then the LEDs do not light. Rotate the magnet end over end. The polarity of the bar is important, as demonstrated in projects 12 and 13. Okay, well it's a pretty simple circuit, this one, so we'll just jump over to the booth and put it together. Here on the booth. So the first thing to do is to pull the cables from the previous job out, so let's do that first. Alright, so now we're ready to do the wiring. This would be a quick job because there's not many wires, so let's do that. Alright, that's the wiring done, so let's pop over to the bench and see how it works. Here on the bench, now I'm just going to turn on the bench power supply. That runs over here with the power cables. This is positive and negative. Now I've got the voltage set at 9 volts, so I'll just turn that on. Okay. Now there's no switch that's on this, so this is already active. And we should see that the bar magnet should affect the switch, which will change the state of the circuit. So let's put alright, well we must have made a wiring error. Have I got the... polarity round the right way? I think I do. Oh, there is actually a switch, dear me. So this switch here will control the circuit, so let's turn the switch on. Okay, now the circuit should be operating. Let's bring the bar magnet near the switch, and as we do, we see the LEDs come on. Either way, will. Oh no, there we go. So seems like if you use the the north or the south pole and you put it just so, the reed switch goes off. That's interesting. So yeah, right. So actually, I'm a bit surprised about that, but I don't completely understand. The manual said that the reed switch is made of soft iron, which is a special type of iron that only temporarily retains magnetism. So if that's not magnetized fully in there, I don't understand how this works. I don't think I have the concept of this. But this is a pretty boring circuit. When we put the magnet in and the LEDs start drawing power, the power supply here tells me that it's drawing about 13 milliamps. We could use the multimeter to confirm. If we put the lead in there and put it over on milliamps, and then we'll put the cables around the other way. So those LEDs are drawing down about 14.65 milliamps, and as you can see there, I'll just move that so you can see that better. 14.6 milliamps. When I move the bar magnet away, it drops to 0. The switch is open. There's no current at all going through, and then that turns it fully on. So two LEDs are drawing 14.6 milliamps. I suppose we could throw you over to the thermal cam. Now you can see the switch there. That's bright because I've touched it. That warmed up the bar magnet with my finger. But the transistors you see are actually burning up more energy than the LEDs. You can see the LEDs up the back there. They're pretty weak. The transistors here are using a lot more energy, and I'll adjust that down again. I'll just take that out, and you can see, yeah, the LEDs aren't making as much heat as the transistors are. I was always a little bit surprised about that, but yeah, you can see. I'm a little bit confused why What's that one? What's that? Oh, I see. That's the resistor, not the transistor. Ah, of course. Ah, dear me. So, yeah. Okay, good. That makes a lot more sense. A lot more sense. Gee, I'm learning. Okay, cool. So you see what we're looking at there, of course, is the resistors that are burning up the power. Yeah, not the transistors getting hot, the resistors getting hot. That makes a lot more sense. I'm glad that we do these projects and I get an opportunity to learn. So yeah, okay, cool. Well, I've been wrong about that in past videos. I thought that was the transistors that we were looking at that were getting hot, but it's not, it's the resistors. Excellent. Okay, good. Well, that stacks. That makes a lot more sense. Although, you know, transistors, did you know that the word comes from transfer resistor? So actually transistors are a type of resistor as well, a transfer resistor. Anyway, is there anything more to show you? There's no signal on this circuit, so there's no need for the for the oscilloscope. I think we'll call that a wrap. I'm pretty pleased with this. I feel like I've learned. So yeah, let's wrap it up. I'll take you over to the farewell cam and we'll finish the video. And that's a wrap. So, very happy to have realized that it's the resistors that are getting hot and not the transistors that are getting hot. That stacks. I understand that, and it makes a lot more sense. So that's really good. As I said, we didn't have any signals, so no oscilloscope today. We did use the thermal cam, so that was good. The bench power supply delivered 9 volts and 13 milliamps. It's actually interesting. The power supply reports 13 milliamps, but the multimeter reports 14.65 milliamps. So I believe the multimeter more than I believe the power supply. But yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, I'm going to get this video published. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching, and please remember to hit like and subscribe.